Welcome once again to the Way Network. I want to thank you for your time and patience. I know there was a sudden cut in communication in terms of our video lectures on our handle, but we had a few technical challenges with the logistics we are using to shoot our videos, so we thought of going for a break and then getting new logistics so as to give you a more improved audiovisual recording. So for the people who were calling me and then trying to send me a message, I gave you that explanation, and thank God, thank the universe, and thank all the spirits. We've been able to procure some of these logistics in order to give us an enhanced audiovisual recording. I want to thank everybody who directly or indirectly supported the process to get us where we are today. Today I want to talk to you about the year 2024. As you know, some people have been calling me trying to find out what 2024 has in stock, the predictions, the forecast, and here and there. Yes, just as I told you in 2023, early part of 2023, that yes, 2023 will be like a regular year, though there was a lot of let me call it, for lack of better word, dooms predictions and all kind of hardship. Things are going to be tough and all those things. I told you guys that, look, it's going to be like a regular year. People are going to give birth and others are going to die. Others are going to go get married. Others are going to have their marriages divorced. Others are going to get jobs and others are going to lose their jobs. Others are going to build businesses and others are going to lose their business. It's just going to be a regular year with certain pocket events which will take place here and there, pieces and pieces and all those things. But whatever it is, we are going to go through successfully. So it's not something that we should be too much worried about. What was most important was for us to build a resilience, inner resilience ability to be able to withstand in those days. Likewise, same thing I'll tell you in the coming year, 2024, would not be, as usual, people will come up with all presentations. But the only thing I can tell you, that irrespective of the forecast that is going to come, irrespective of the predictions that is going to come, the predictions will only happen when you give it the opportunity to happen. The prediction will only manifest in your life if you give it the receptivity. Well, the truth of the matter is that nothing can happen on earth to any human being when the person doesn't give the opportunity for it to happen. So whether or not the issue of your forecast or prediction is going to happen, it depends on what you are going to do. For instance, the whole universe is like let me give a scenario, a classical scenario of how it works. The whole universe is like a band of radio frequencies, and these radio frequencies are the transmission of the influences of the celestial bodies within our cosmological space. Now, we are the radio receptors. We human beings are the radio receptors, like you have a tape or a radio in your house. So we being the receptors, we have to tune into that particular frequency that we want it play on our body radio frequency. So what happens is that if, for instance, we have Peace FM, Joy FM, Happy FM, all the radio stations we have, BBC, VOA, CNN, all the radio transmissions we have, if you don't tune into Peace FM, there's no way your radio will play the information coming from Peace FM. And if you don't tune into Happy FM, there's no way your radio would have the frequency coming from Happy FM. Likewise, our world is full of bands of frequency coming from the celestial constellation. Now, some may be good and some may be bad. But the point is that whichever frequency our body may pick as radioactive beings depends on our receptivity to that particular frequency. For instance, if there's a prediction that you're going to have a fight or you're going to have a misunderstanding with your mom, being conscious of that prediction or forecast, it depends on your level of receptivity when your mom begins to transmit a frequency that would inevitably end up in confusion or misunderstanding. If you are receptive to that transmission from your mom, then inevitably it will result in confusion and fight. If you are non-receptive to the transmission which is coming from your mom, your body radio frequency would not receive the signal. Hence, that transmission of the forecast of misunderstanding between you and your mom will not come into fruition, will not come to manifestation. So this is how the whole thing works. Nothing happens in this life to anybody without a person's receptivity. You, everything that is happening to us is happening. We have given it the opportunity and we have accepted it for it to happen. If we do not allow it, it will not happen. This is how we have been created. So the truth of the matter is, in 2024, you should be able to protect your space. You should be able to advance yourself in terms of consciousness, in terms of awareness, in terms of spirituality, in terms of self-realization, to the level where you can be able to have full control over your space. That not every forecast or every wavelength which is roaming around, be it good or bad, to penetrate within your space. If you can develop yourself, you can enhance your knowledge and enhance your consciousness, you will be able to control your space. That not any forecast or any prediction would take place within your space. This is where a lot of people are getting it wrong. You see, because the point is that most of these forecasts give a lot of panic forecasts and predictions, and they make you terrified. And once you are terrified, you lose guard of your space. And once you lose guard of your space and control, any other thing penetrates. Now, when these forecasts are given, ideally, these forecasts should come with solutions and what to do and not what not to do, because these are just predictions. And predictions, prophecies and predictions are not bound to happen until you give it an opportunity to happen. I remember there's a guy who visited me with a long forecast. He sent me his forecast, and there's a whole lot of prediction in the forecast. And it was like he was confused. I think it's a she. She was confused. And when she came and I was speaking to her, I said, look, all these things are happening because you have given your attention to your forecast. You have given your attention to your forecast. And anything that you give your attention to, your thoughts begin to resonate certain frequencies. Now, these frequencies, after a period of brooding over these frequencies, begin to generate some kind of level of different resonation we call vibration, which in literal word or in a regular language we call it emotions. Now, these emotions, after a while, when it's fully matured, would come into manifestation through your senses. So these are the three levels that causes manifestation. So the thing comes to your thoughts, then from your thought, after a while, being in your thought, descends to your vibratory level, which is your emotions. And after a while, being conceived in your emotion for a while, when it's fully matured into desire, would come into manifestation by way of your senses. So if you can control your thought, control what gets into your thought, you can control what affects your emotion. And when you control what affects your emotion, you can control what is manifesting in your life and in your space. So it is not automatic. I repeat, it is not automatic that when they give you a forecast, they give you a prediction, whether astrologically or from the realm of prophecy, it is not automatic that it must manifest. It is not automatic. The manifestation of that prophecy or that prediction or forecast is dependent on your receptivity. Let me give a classical scenario in the Bible. There was a man in the Bible called, there was this king in the Bible called, I forgot his name, the prophet sent him a message that he should put in house in order, and that King Hezekiah, that when prophet sent him a message that the Lord says that he should put his house in order, that he will die. That was the message that was given by God through the prophet to King Hezekiah. But the truth of the matter is that King Hezekiah did not accept that prophecy, did not accept that forecast. So according to the Bible story, King Hezekiah faced the wall and then prayed to God and asked God, I have done this, I have done that, I've done that, I've done that. I'm not ready to die now. I'm not accepting to die. And according to the story in the Bible, whilst the prophet was on his way home, he received another word that he should go back and tell King Hezekiah that the Lord has added 15 years more to his life. So, yes, this is a biblical story giving you an analytical comprehension of the fact that it is not automatic that every prophecy or every prediction is supposed to happen in your life as it has been predicted or forecast or prophesied. But whether or not it will happen, it depends on your level of receptivity. The problem is fear that generates from our emotion then tends to make us lose sight or lose the energy that we can galvanize to stop whatever forecast or prediction or prophecy that has been given about us. And there are countless of people who were scientifically and medically declared that they are going to die and they are alive. There are some people who are scientifically declared that this sickness will take them to their grave, and they prove otherwise because they didn't accept it. There are a lot of these things that have happened both physically and spiritually. So what I want to tell you is that do not just buy into any kind of forecast and prophecies that may come your way the year 2024, because it doesn't work that way. How can you live in a universe where whatever is said about you can never be changed? Even karma can be changed. If you develop to certain frequency, you don't yourself to certain vibrational frequency, you can reverse and change and outline your karma, raise your karma. And it happens many times. Let me give another classical scenario in the Bible. When Jesus Christ got to the Samaritan well, where he met the Samaritan woman who was drawing water from the well, and he asked of the Samaritan woman, beseech of the Samaritan woman, to give him water to drink. Now the Samaritan man hesitated to give him the water, and he said, if you know who I am, I'll give you water that you will never taste again. Then he asked him, how many husbands do you have? Blah, 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 blah. One conversation led to the other, one conversation led to the other. And he said, oh, for you are the Messiah, you are the Savior, so and so. And he said, woman, this day thy sins are forgiven. But go and sin no more. So what he's trying to say is that this day your karma has been erased. But make sure as you go, you are a new creature. Do not go and create more karma. Because when you create new karma, you are going to face the consequences of the new karma that you have created. But the old karma that you have created, which you are supposed to bear the consequences, I, Christ, by the level of my spiritual attainment and consciousness, I have erased that karma for you. So even what we call karma, which we may find time and do a whole teaching on karma, because people the word karma to be something that you can't do anything about. You have to go through dolly, you have to go through and experience it. But it is not so, because we are God. So as we are gods in smaller form, things doesn't then happen to us at random. If it happens so, then there's no essence. Then why we are like, we have the power to determine what happens in our world, what happens in our space. You understand? So, for instance, if today all world leaders, all country presidents decide, okay, now no more no more weapon of mass destruction, no more war weapons, and we are all destroying our war weapons, then what will happen? Our world will be peaceful. Because we decide. If tomorrow they wake up and say, I want to war with this, I want to fight with that, chaotic. These are all our own creation. This is all what we accept, what we are receptive of. So the matter is that we need to come to that realization that on this planet Earth, we have been given the power and dominion within this space. So whatever happens within this space, it depends on our level of receptivity. How we decide to receive and brood and accept what is supposed to accept it, it will not happen. So we need to understand that it is fine to have predictions, it is fine to have a forecast, but these are not gospels. As people tend to be frightened with all these forecasts and predictions. They are things to help and give us a foreknowledge of the probable events that may happen in the near future as we unfold within the universal consciousness. But it is not bound to happen. Whether it will happen, I repeat, whether it will happen or not depends on your receptivity. There was some that contacted me, then Forecast from another spiritual teacher, a very long forecast, seeing a whole lot of, as part of the forecast, it was predicted that, I think one of this month, August or something like that. And because of that, she's been trapped in uncomfortable going out and all those things, and her life has been trapped in one small corner. Then I told her, look, accident is accident. Did she ask what kind of accident there may be that she will be confronted with? Different types of accident. So I cannot just forecast that you are going to have accident. Is it an automobile accident? Is it a domestic accident? What kind of accident is it? Because you cannot just say accident. So when you just say accident, you put the person in a very uncomfortable and very compromising position. And this thing has been worrying her. And I said, look, accident, you can fall from your staircase, it's an accident. You can have a hot water spill, it can be fire, it can be anything. So you're not trying to go out, that doesn't mean you're not going to have the accident. And I told her, look, those things would happen because you are brooding over it, because you are premeditating on it. And as you premeditate on it, you develop that frequency. And as you develop that frequency, it will affect your feeling field, which is your vibration field. And when it affects your vibration field, after a while, when it's fully conceived into desire, it will manifest. You can't stop it. But only if you can control what you think up here, you can control what comes down here. And once you can control what comes down here in the form of feeling and desire, you can control what comes in your life and what happens within your space. This is the whole secret. And there's nothing to it. You see, so you conceive the idea translates into energy vibration, which is emotion. And when the emotion is brooded upon over a while and fully develop into desire, which motivational speakers call it passion, then you can achieve it. The achievement is the manifestation of it. So this is how it happens. So please, going forward 2024, don't give your mind to all these things. They are good. You can go in for the forecast. You can go in for the prediction, as just knowing that you just want to preempt the possible event that could happen in your life. After knowing the possible event that will happen in your life, you just have to treat it as any other information with your life. Rather, have enough knowledge, enough self-realization, enough spiritual conscious awakening to the level where you can handle events in your life. And do not waste your time thinking about those ill and negative forecast is being predicted to your readings. That's why we call them predictions. Are not gospels, and they are not. They may or may not. You understand? So this is what we're. So 2024, we are going to talk about 2024. In 2024, we are going to believe in predictions and forecasts and all those things. What we believe in, giving people knowledge, giving people know-how, giving people a conscious awareness that they can handle any situations in their life. For me, I sit here, I don't care about forecasts. I don't even check my forecast. Even though I know I study astrology, I don't bother myself to check about my forecast because I don't care what really happens. Because what I know is that inherent within me is the potency and ability to handle anything that comes my way. So I don't care what comes my way. When it comes my way, if I want it, I'll allow it up. If it doesn't, I don't want it, I will stop it. So myself forecast there is. You see, because the truth of the matter is that you must have an inherent ability to be able to handle the world around you. You are given power and dominion to subdue the world. The world we are talking about, the world the Bible talks about, is not the collective world that we are talking about. It's talking about your world, because each individual has his own world. You create the world around you, the kind of family you are with, the kind of friends you are with, the activities that are taking place among your friends, the kind of work you are doing, the activity that is happening within the work they are doing, the kind of where you live, the home you live in, the community you live in, and the kind of neighbors you have and all those things. This is the world that you have to have dominion and control over. So when I control my world, you control your world, other people control it, and then collectively we can control the universal world, which is the macro world. So the world that divinity gave you the power to subdue and to have control is your micro world. M-I-C-R-O, micro world, not the macro world. But the point is that people have had that theological misrepresentation, misconception that when they say man was given the power to subdue the to subdue the world, it is in reference to the macro world, which is the universal world. It's not about the universal world. It is our collective control of our micro world, individual world, that then, when we come together, we can now control the macro world. So you have the right to decide what happens to your life. Your life is your world. Your life is your space. And you have the right to decide what should happen and what should not happen in your space and in your world. Don't let anybody deceive you. Don't let anybody threaten you. Don't give your hope to all these things. Yeah, astrological prediction, numerological predictions, they are fine. They are good. I'm not against it. I practice it myself. I do it for people myself. But one thing is that I make you understand that it is not the gospel. It is not ultimate. It is not the end of it. I'm only giving you an idea of possibilities, eventual possibilities that may happen. And then I tell you that the ultimate decision, whether it would happen or not, lies within you. Because the authentic power is within you. That's why it is said, greater is he that is within you than he that is of the world. That is why we must learn to go inside and come to the level of self-realization, where we begin to harness our true potency and powers to be able to control the world around us. Because the world around us is supposed to be a reflection of the world within us. It's not the world within us that's supposed to determine what happens it's not the world without us or the external world that's supposed to determine what happens in our internal world. The problem people are faced with is that they've neglected their internal world and they are looking only to the external world. So if the external world creates condition of happiness, then in effect they will be happy inside. If the external world creates condition of sadness and sorrow, then they will feel sadness and sorrow inside. So they are being controlled by what is the happenings that is taking place in the external world around them. Instead of they being the masters from the center of the external world to be able to determine what happens in the external world by what is happening within them, so that the external world become a reflection of their internal world. Rather, the internal world is becoming a master and a controller of what is happening internally. This is where the problem is. And we have to use reverse psychology. And this is what we call conscious awakening. When we talk about conscious awakening, awareness, and all those things, enlightenment is the switch of attention. That's all. Now you are looking outside. Everything you look outside. If you have a problem, you want to go here. If you have, I want to, next year, what is going to happen next year? Then you go to an astrologer or a numerologist to forecast to see what is going to happen next year. You've always sent your attention outside. Now, where your attention goes, your energy flows, and you are controlled from that level. This I consistently talk about it, because this is how the universe is designed. What you don't give your attention to, it can never control you. What you don't give your attention to, it can never manifest into your life. Once you give your attention to something, your energy flows to the place, and the control comes from the place, and the manifestation comes from the place. So all your life, you've been living your life with an external attention, with no internal attention. Now, the entire idea of spirituality is to switch your attention from the external to the internal. And then you will realize that you are endowed with so much potential, so much power, that nothing can happen. Nothing can. Listen, when you begin to awaken spiritually, you rubbish astrology, you rubbish numerology. This is an honest truth. It's sometimes a hard truth to say, but this is the absolute, it's a truth beyond doubt. Astrology, numerology, all those only works on people who have not awakened their spirituality, have not awakened their true self. But when you are awakening, I can tell you on authority that it does not come anywhere. And that is why Bible says that, I think in the book of Psalm 92, I said, the sun shall not smite you by day, neither will the moon by night. Because the sun and the moon are all celestial bodies. And these celestial bodies determine the movement of the celestial bodies, and including the planetary bodies and the stars and the moon, determine the astrological predictions. And the Bible says that these things would not have effect on you when you are in the divine. The divine they are talking about is when you have been able to go inside to discover who you truly are. So I'm saying all these things because I'm going to teach you a few energy resonations that is going to take place in 2024, which are more numerological and astrological based. But it is not a gospel. It is not something which is supposed to happen automatically. But what it's going to do is going to happen is that it's just like an energy field. That energy field will be there. And that energy field naturally is a dormant field, but it is resonating. When you give it your attention, it begins to have a play in your life. For instance, Like this whole universe is full of bands of frequency, like radio frequencies are here. When you buy a radio and you don't tune into Peace FM, your radio will not communicate information from Peace FM. If you buy a radio and you tune into Joy FM or BBC or Voice of America, it is only the information at Voice of America, BBC, or Joy TV or Joy Radio that your radio set can transmit. So likewise, the astrological predictions are predictions of energies that are resonating within our space. That is the condition of energy resonation within our space. Whether these energies will have effect on you or not, it depends on how you tune in. If you tune in with a receptivity to that frequency, then that frequency begins to apply in your life. If you don't, it's not going to apply in your life. This is what it is. So it is not automatic that once prediction is made, it's supposed to happen. So please, 2024 will be like any ordinary year to come and it will go. Human being would always suffice. Human being will always thrive. We will come out stronger and better. This is what, because we have been, this is where we will be. This is where we will be. But whether we will survive or we will not survive, whether we will extinct or we keep on living, depends on the decision we make, the choices we make, and our level of receptivity to energies external of us. The truth of the matter is that the energy, we shouldn't be receptive to energy, but we have to generate an energy from ourselves and then resonate it outside to counter the other energies which are coming from the external world, so that we determine what happens in our space. And this is where we are getting it wrong. And this is where spirituality, true spirituality actually comes in. We are not talking about spiritism. We are talking about authentic spirituality. There's a difference between spiritism and spirituality. All that I see people talk about is spiritism. It is nothing to do with spirituality. Because true spirituality has nothing to do with external factors. Everything about true spirituality is happening all at the same time within yourself. And this is where the victory is. This is where the tranquility is. This is where the clarity is. This is where the understanding is. This is where your joy, bliss, everything you ever look for lies and resides within. It is not without yourself. Anything which is external, you call an angel, you call a deity, you call a mami water spirit, you call whatever they call a ayahuasca, all those things, they are all spiritism. They are not spirituality. Unfortunately, they present it as spirituality. They are not spirituality. They are not. I have to tell you the truth. And it's not in the idea of in competition with anyone, but we are here to let people know the truth. We are not saying it is bad. That's not what I am saying. Let me make it clear. I am not saying contacting a water spirit. There are times I do rituals. I go to Wager Lake to go and do rituals for some of the deities in the Wager Lake. There are times I go to the seaside to go and do certain rituals. We've done it with our teachers. We've done it many times. Yes, we are not saying it's bad. But what I want to establish is that that is not spirituality. That is spiritism. You are dealing with a spirit. And the act of dealing with a spirit is what we call spiritism. It is not spirituality. And those who practice spiritism are what we call spiritists. And those who practice spirituality are who we call spiritualists. So they are two different. But you see, the misuse of words, semantics, has created this problem. And now people cannot comprehend which path actually is spirituality and which path actually is spiritism. Because in spiritism, you recognize you can practice spiritism when you yourself are not spiritually developed. So yes, because it's a spirit entity, you invoke the spirit entity, it gives you the conditions, you meet the conditions, and it will manifest. But spirituality is an internal advancement of the spirit that lives within you, and not the spirit which is outside. When you begin to dwell on the spirit that lives within you, to develop that spirit, to fully harness its divine potential, that is what you call spirituality. When you begin to rely on external spirits for aid, assistance, and to do things for you, that is spiritism. And they are two different things altogether.